All right. So I interviewed Jeff Olson, and he's the director of client onboarding and application delivery for IVDesk. I connected with him because he's a family friend. We go to the same church, and he was also a leader in my Boy Scout troop when I was younger, and I thought he'd be a solid interviewee, and he was. So he's worked at IVDesk for the last decade or so, and IVDesk is a company that provide a technological cloud for companies to store their data, and this provides security in the case of a security breach or an emergency, such as like their building burning down or something like that, so that they don't lose all their data. Um, they also provide their clients with a software system which is built for maximum efficiency and ease of access. And IVDesk's main purpose is to reduce their clients' cost by shortening the cost of IT downtime. So I visited his office about a month ago, and he took gave me a quick tour, introduced me to a few of his colleagues, and then we went to a conference room and I asked him a few questions. So the first thing I asked him was, what does a regular day of work look like for you? And so the majority of his job is working with the sales team and the technical or client relations team. He investigates potential clients and then provides the sales team with information on them and guidance on how to gain them as a customer. The other half of his job is working with the technical team or client relations. And what he'll do is he'll spend hours on the phone every day talking to customers and gauging their satisfaction level and approval of IVDesk and the software that they've been using. He also seeks help from the customers to see if they have any opinions on how IVDesk can improve their software. He also said that a big part of his job was paperwork, and this he did not seem very happy about this, but he said it was to be expected from his job. That's also on that slide. I asked him about building relationships with his colleagues, and he said that most of the people he works with are very friendly and it's easy to get along well with them. But he said it's hard to become, genuine friends with his colleagues because of the barrier between him being an authoritative figure and them under his, authority. And so people will be friendly, but they have a hard time, being actual friends with him because they're afraid to open up too much about stuff that's not work related. So the next question I asked him was if there was a situation where there was conflict between teams or people in the workplace, what would how would he handle the situation? And he said the first step he would do is to meet with all the parties involved to understand the situation as best as he can so we could have a firm grasp on what was going on. And then next he would have them meet with him to discuss where each of them were wrong and how they could compromise. He also mentioned that in the case of an offense that was very severe, he could have people put on leave without pay or even terminated. So this led me to asking him how he handles tough decisions. And he said his first step would be prayer. He said that immediately. He said, anytime there's something stressful at work or something that needs a difficult response, he goes directly to prayer. He also likes to study the decision from all angles to understand it as best as possible. So when he eventually does come up with a decision, he'll discuss it with his colleagues and peers at the workplace to see how they would react to his decision and if it seems like a good decision. And afterwards, he jokingly said that many times he'll come up with some like super long plan. So then this led into me asking him how he would apply his faith in the workplace. And again, he immediately said prayer. His first response was that he prays throughout the day as he's faced with difficult business environment. He said another pivotal part of his faith in the workplace is in his actions. coworkers will confront him about why he does not swear or get too heated about some issues, and he says it is an opportunity for him to share the love of Christ with them. He said he never passes up a chance to witness or share his beliefs with people. The next thing I asked him about was the hiring process and how he likes to hire people. And um, I asked him what his favorite method of hiring was, and he said definitely recommendation from a trusted source. So if a former employee or current worker says they have a potential applicant, they become Mr. Olson's priority or first option. It's a deal breaker right there. During interviews, Mr. Olson said he looks for communication skills um, and customer care skills. So if the applicant can interact well with him or people and seem to have a general caring and hospitable attitude, that really puts him high up on his list, and it is something huge that he looks for in applicants. The final thing I asked him about was his favorite part of managing, and he said first and foremost the friends and relationships he gets to make through it. Um, he also loves his schedule and his commute. He gets to work at home 2 days a week, and the building he works at is only like 10, 15 minutes, he said, from his place. And um, he said that was a really enjoyable part of managing. And the last thing he said was that he enjoys it because it's an opportunity to be the love of Christ to people and to share his faith. And he said that is something he does not take for granted. And that's where our interview ended. And so I feel like I learned a lot from him, and it was really interesting to see his work environment and how he handles things. And yeah, it was very interesting. So it's a fun project.